Well, reactions to De Klerk's death continue today, and there are no holds barred at the moment. The EFF leader wasn't sad that the last apartheid-era president had died. The Pan-African Congress was unrepentant about their dislike for De Klerk. His legacy has obviously left people very firm about their support or hatred. Late yesterday, President Ramaphosa called him courageous for going against his party, the National Party, and unbanning the liberation movements and initiating those negotiations. But many are calling De Klerk's move in February 1990 political expediency. Then we spoke about that release of that video in which De Klerk apologizes for harm and the damage caused by apartheid, but it appears to have been created an even bigger divide, with many callers and commentators on radio stations and television stations wondering why he didn't apologize when he was alive. Commentators also suggesting that he's as divisive in death as he was in life. Richard?
Indeed, Angelo, why didn't he apologize when he was alive? That is a good question. But further to that, do we have any updates on plans for his funeral, Angelo?
Well, look, that's the next political potato or hot potato that's brewing on the fire at the moment. It's going to be how the government deals with De Klerk's funeral that has everyone guessing. We've got a clue, though, from the statement released by Parliament, which said it would mourn De Klerk in the appropriate manner. The EFF said it would actually hold public protests if De Klerk was given a state funeral. There are suggestions that the funeral might be disrupted, not by the EFF, but various other parties. The decision is going to be difficult for the ruling party. The De Klerk Foundation did say yesterday that the funeral plans were yet to be announced, so it's unclear whether that means there are discussions that are happening between government officials and the foundation and family or not. But it will be a contentious decision either way. State protocol, of course, calls for state funerals for all past presidents. It's in the state funeral policy manual that was released by government in 2016. In fact, the family of De Klerk's predecessor, one P.W. Botha, was offered a state funeral, but it was turned down. So the next couple of days we'll see lots of meetings and lots of consultations before a decision is made. And it's probably going to be around political expediency rather than what is the right thing to do. Richard?
Angelo, thank you so much for staying close to that story. Well, for more on Frederik De Klerk's legacy, we are joined by Koffi Kouakou, an analyst on African affairs at the Wits School of Governance. He joins us via Zoom from Johannesburg. Welcome to the program. De Klerk's presided over one of the most extraordinary political events of the late 20th century. How will he be remembered?
Well, thank you very much for having me. A quick correction. I'm no longer with Wits University. I'm with the Center for Africa-China Studies at the University of Johannesburg. But clearly, he will be remembered with mixed emotions, and the reasons are very clear. And those mixed emotions also translate into a deep sense of constricted pains and trauma that many South Africans have suffered over the years during apartheid. And so De Klerk himself, although he's dead, is sort of still there as a symbol of that ghost, lingering, cruel ghost of apartheid over the head of South Africans, because the consequences that governments, that kind of, if you want, system is still around. So South Africans have this mixed emotions, and it's really painful. In fact, many of them don't want to think about it anymore. They just want to forget about it.
Well, Koffi, picking up on what you've just said, despite his contribution to the end of apartheid, many black South Africans still question his intentions and saw him nothing more than part of a long line of repressive white leaders. Do you agree with that?
Indeed, I do agree. I mean, it's really have been gruesome. And all of us know how it is to suffer under an oppressive regime that doesn't give you a chance to breathe, to be free, to have a dignified place in the country that's yours. So justifiably so, I agree with the majority of South Africans who feel that way. Of course, his role in bringing a new South Africa was very important. We shouldn't deny that as well. But in the balance, we see that the pain was much, much higher than what he represented today.